And this I believe from a woman named Elizabeth Deutsch Earle. And when she was 16 years old, she won this, I believe, essay contest in her hometown of Cleveland. And her prize was a trip to New York City to record her essay for the broadcast on the original series. And I don't know whether she still is, but she's a professor of plant breeding at Cornell University. Interesting. So I think you'll enjoy this essay here. Have I learned anything important since I was 16? Over 50 years ago, at the age of 16, I wrote an essay published in the original This I Believe series. Since then, I've advanced through much of the life cycle, including college, marriage to the same man for over 40 years, 2 daughters, plus a scientific career, 2 lively grandsons, and death of parents and friends. I still believe most of what I wrote long ago. Many of my early traits remain, including skepticism about religious authority, curiosity about the world, and the lofty desire to live a righteous life. The world I see now worries me at least as much as it did in the 1950s. So have I learned anything important since I was 16? I now know that life is very often unfair. My own life has gone well, with much happiness and no exceptional grief or pain, yet travel to other countries, experiences closer at hand, and just reading the news show me how hard things are for many people. That contrast troubles me, and I'm still not sure how best to respond to it. I do believe that those of us who have prospered should view our good fortune not as an indication of personal merit or entitlement, but as an obligation to recognize the needs of others. Sadly, I've fallen short of my optimistic, youthful goal of doing what must be done. I try to be a good friend to the people I know and support causes with broader goals that I respect, but I recognize my efforts have changed the world only in small ways. Being a kind person and striving for social justice remain high priorities for me, but not for religious reasons. The simple faith in the deity, in quotes, expressed in my teenage essay has faded over the years. Still, after the events of 9/11, I returned to the Unitarian Church, the same denomination in which I was active when I was 16. I've come to appreciate once again that communal reflection about life's deeper matters is sustaining and uplifting and provides a consistent nudge in worthy directions. I believe that it's good to spend time engaged in the present. I recently heard and admired the phrase, wherever you are, be there. This may not work for everyone. Disassociating from misery may be wise. But someone like me who focuses on lists of the next day tasks and often reads a newspaper while walking outdoors should remember also to look up at the sky and at the people around me. I believe that it's important to recognize and appreciate joy when you feel it. Every once in a while, and not just on special occasions, I've suddenly realized that I am truly happy right now. This is a precious experience, one to savor. When I was young, an honest and moral life seemed like a straightforward goal. I now know that it's not always easy to see what should be done, and even harder, actually, to do it. Nevertheless, I'm grateful that I still have some time to keep trying to get it right and to savor each remaining day in my life. So, nice essay, huh? It's a nice reflection, I feel, about, where we are, where were we over 50 years ago at the age of 16, and what were our life's goals and what were our thoughts, and here we are now, right? So, thoughts, comments.
Can I?
Oh, please, Dee.
You know, it's so heartening to hear someone say that they are okay, they're safe, their situation's good, and they have really not suffered as deeply as so many others have. And acknowledge that it's not because of some merit that they deserve necessarily, you know, and that it's really an obligation to have empathy for everybody else, you know, that doesn't have that kind of fortune. And I spend way too much time on Facebook, and like, there's just so many people like that just don't get it, you know, at all. And like, and there's so, it seems like there's almost not more people. It's just that they're so close-minded. It's like they're defiant or angry or something. Like, if, you know, it's just odd that people can't have empathy for others. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I wish I could give you a good example, but you know, people who are on, like, say, you know, on social services or something, like, oh well, I noticed they've got people will comment, yeah, but they've got their smartphones. You know, and it's like, why do you care if somebody has a smartphone that they probably got for nothing through some service? You know, it's like everybody's so like, I just, it's so disheartening, you know, to see how many people resent others that have less than they do or haven't done as well as they have, as if it's, I don't know, it's just like a lack of empathy or something. But anyway, it was really heartening to hear somebody else, one more voice, you know, say that I've had it really good, and I know it's not because I'm some special person. It's just, and I have to do the right thing. So yeah, it was a really bright, lovely thing to hear, you know, when you spend as much time listening to the BS as I do, you know, and arguing back and forth once in a while if I feel like getting into it. But yeah, it was a lovely thing to hear. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Dee. Yes.
Sue.
You have to unmute, Sue.
I was 18, 50 years ago. That's mind blowing in and of itself. I really strongly agree with Dee about, you know, having compassion for not only for people who are obviously less fortunate than you, but also for the people who may seem to be less fortunate for not traditional reasons, you know, just being very tuned into other people, and in doing so, being able to make, there are so many, you know, my brother was a Vietnam vet, and I make it a point when there are a lot of homeless vets. And in the winter, if you're in Manhattan, along Lexington Avenue, one of the most affluent shopping areas in the city, you'll see people who will, with their pets or without, and we often just walk by. But I have this thing, because my brother was a vet, that if someone is making it obvious that they too are a veteran, I stop and I talk to them. We're so not all of, I mean, I'm talking to people who I know are sensitive to other people, so it's not like I need to make a point of any kind, you know. I just think about that a lot. And I think I may have mentioned before that my kids grew up, before they blew out their birthday candles, I would instruct them to make a wish for someone less fortunate than they, and that they didn't even have to know who that person was, just send it out into the air. So now, of course, every time, you know, they kind of do it as a chorus for whomever. It's kind of funny. But then it makes me think, so are they more sensitive to others in that regard? So, you know, we hope we set a good example, and that's all we can do.
Thank you. And Rita, did you want to say something? I thought I saw your hand.
Yes, thank you for so much for the reading. It was so inspiring. It's like she's a role model for me in what she does and how she thinks and how she feels. And it's really great because I also try to help others in the community by being part of various volunteer organizations, and it's just so nice to hear an essay about that somebody so young at 16 was already thinking that way, because I know I wasn't, and so it's an inspiration to hear that, and it's a joy to be on with all of you. Unfortunately, I have to leave at 12, but I wanted to come on and see all of you because I miss you.
Oh, we miss you. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you, Rita. Any other? Oh, Miss Barbara.
It was a beautiful, beautiful read. And like Rita said, very inspirational. And I heard every word Dee was saying. And my response to all of that is just wonderful to know in this moment that there are so many beautiful people who are connected to their hearts. And I think it's good to just hold that up and continue to be connected to the heart and align with other people who are doing the same, and those who are not, send light. And you know, if you want prayers or meditations or affirmations, that they find the light in their hearts. But it's just wonderful to know that there are so many of us who are connected to their hearts, and they express the love in their hearts in so many beautiful ways. And that's my 2 cents. It's nice to be connected to all these beautiful hearts right here in the bells.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When I read this essay this morning, I mean, I feel like there's so many layers. Like we could just take one chapter and talk about that for the whole hour. And then like every chapter had so many layers. But what I truly connected to this morning was wherever you are, be there.
Be there.
And also about connecting to joy and happiness, not just on joyous and happy occasions. And I felt really sad last night and went to bed sad and woke up feeling sad. And I read this essay and I went outside and I just felt such joy and happiness for the sun and for the quiet. And I even came in and said to RD, I have good news and bad news. And he's like, what's the good news? And I said, it's so quiet outside. And he's like, and I was like, it's freezing. And I, touched him and my hands were like freezing, but I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just like feeling that happiness and joy of just the little thing of it being sunshine and quiet. Like, so the essay really took me out of my funk this morning. And I love the other layers you're sharing about 50 years ago or where we were. I loved her comparing where she was with religion and then how she stepped back into the same religion all those years later, and the layers of helping people and where we are, and so many layers to that. I just enjoyed the essay. Thank you guys for sharing.
Any other thoughts? Johan.
Yeah, I was lucky I could read long, and so I agree, Heather. There's so many things that triggered me in many ways. The title, "What have I learned? Have I learned anything important?" I was 16 when I was courageous enough to leave the house of my parents because I was not safe there. It was a hard time, and but my instinct told me that I had to, and I was never unhappy with this decision. And after that, I had to learn a lot of things in my life that you normally learn maybe in your childhood or youth. For example, that I'm good enough, that when someone is criticizing me, it's not a punishment, for example, or that I'm the way I am is okay. So I'm so happy about that. It took a long time and still takes, but I'm happy with this. And then I also agree to her paragraph about what she's saying about her church, that she went back to her church after 9/11. And when I left my parents' house with 16, I also left church because I came out, and I was in big trouble with doing the daily life and organizing where do I get money and where can I live and so on and so on. And I didn't want to have any argue with my church. I didn't want to argue, and I rested. I paused my engagement in church for 15 years, I think. I didn't want to go there. I doubted, and I didn't want to say Father in heaven because, yeah, I didn't feel that I was part of this. I felt excluded. But then I came to Berlin, and I think I told you the story again. I was very sick, ill, and I passed by this community, this church where I still am, and I always loved music in church. So I started because there was a paper which said, "We are looking for singers. Please come and join us." So, and I thought, typical Jochen, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. But then I started there, and they embraced me. I had never any problem with being gay. This was completely normal in this, and I think it's the difference if you grow up on the countryside or in Berlin, because there were so many other gay people in my church, and and I started to come back to also to go to service and hear the sermon, and I agree to what she said, that I don't get but she says that the continuously discussion about words makes grows your heart, grows your soul, and that's how I see when I go to church. I don't agree always. I don't always agree, but I always open my ears and think about what is said and how it's said. And this is a continuous part of my life, also with the music. And I'm very happy about that. I came back to that. So I learned a lot since I was 16.
Thank you, Jochen. Appreciate that very much.
And thank you for bringing me back to the title. I didn't even remember the title because I was getting into what I got from the essay. Thank you for sharing. That was beautiful, Jochen.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Leticia.
Good morning, everyone. Just a side note, Linda, are those new glasses? You look really good. You
Yes, they
look
are
really
new
good.
reading glasses. Thank you.
They suit you very well. You look stunning. Go girl.
Oh, thank you so much, Leticia. Thank you.
Come a little closer. Oh, those are so cool. They look great on you.
They do. They suit you
You
very
make
well.
them look great.
They do.
Thank you.
RD, could you repeat the part where she was saying that she has a responsibility that even though she is, what I understood, and he talked about it at the beginning, she is in abundance and she is not apologetic, but she feels she has a responsibility.
Oh, okay. She says, I do believe that those of us who have prospered should view our good fortune not as an indication of personal merit or entitlement, but as an obligation to recognize the needs of others. I think that's the sentence that you're looking forward to.
Yes, thank you. I agree with this. However, I don't like the word obligation because I think I'm allergic to obligation. If we feel that we have an obligation, it becomes dense, it becomes heavy, it becomes tight. Whereas if it's sort of an invitation or it creates a possibility, but this I'm sort of I'm criticizing her word, her choice of word, but in my heart, I prefer saying it's an opportunity to share. It's an opportunity to be aware of other people and to share and to give, etc., etc. Whether it's time, money, or energy, or thoughts, or whatever. Because I don't like this obligation. It's like you have this and you have to do that, and it's, for me, these are old paradigms, old little boxes. I don't like that personally. And I think that it's interesting how she says those of us who have prospered. Some people have prospered through many challenges and many difficulties and many years of sweating and of really working hard, and that has, for me, that has some merit. Others have created, for example, an app, and then they're overnight millionaires. This is different, but it's okay. So basically, I like that those who have prospered, it's good and it's helpful if you are open. And this comes back to what Barbara always says, being in your heart and opening out of wanting to do it, out of joy, out of magnanimity, and not out of obligation. That's not the same thing for me. It's completely different. The energies are completely different. So I prefer being in joy and in deciding to do this or that, and not somebody telling me, well, you should do this or that. So voilà.
Oh, thank you. It's very interesting how, right, the choice of words, talk about interpretation and how it triggers, each one of us about what it means. But that is very interesting. Thank you.
Which is interesting because I didn't take it like that at all until you put, but it's interesting that you honed in on that sentence, or that's what you needed to look at today.
It's funny, when you were searching for the word heavy, I like when you were saying it, I thought, yeah, like she's right. And before you said the word heavy, I thought weighty. I said it's weighty. Like, yeah, like it is. And sometimes I do feel like, oh, I really need to send off some money to this organization. I really got to do this, but I like to think of it more as like an honor, more than an obligation, like almost like, like I'm not on the other side. I don't have to receive anymore charity, like now, now I get the joy, I have the honor of being able to give, so it is much lighter and much nicer. I think you're right, Leticia, to think of it that way rather than obligation. But I get what the author
Yeah.
was saying also, that, like, hey, look, you don't just, get what's yours and then keep climbing. You got to reach back. And, I do get that. And I think some people need to hear the word obligation, but I totally get what you're saying. Absolutely. But I feel joyous. I feel like it's like, oh God, now I get to give. Whew, like what a relief, like, after so many years of, getting the charity turkey at Thanksgiving, now I can give one, it just feels so good. And, yeah, I honor what you're saying, I get it. Makes sense.
I can understand how it could be triggering also, because our parents talk to us about obligations to our families or whatever. And when we're teenagers or younger and we're kind of feeling like, oh, it's my obligation to wash the pots and pans after Friday night dinner. Great for me. Right. But I heard it more as a call to consciousness that, so maybe the word obligation is both good and bad in a sense, but we all respond based on how language has been used with us in our lives.
Mhm.
So I totally get it, Leticia.
And she wasn't saying that you have to do anything. She was just saying to recognize the needs of others, but that didn't mean you had to go out and do anything. It's just to see where you are and where others are.
At least cut them some slack, at least don't be judgmental of people that are down and out, at least,
Don't
give them that space to, like, there's a reason why everybody's where they're at, and we can't judge each other.
Right. Ram Dass in the Monday night class said, be here now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all we could do.
That's the quote, wherever you are, be there.
Yeah.
See you
think
later,
that's-
Rita. Have a beautiful day.
I think that's Ram Dass' motto, isn't it? Be here now. He's got so much work just around that quote.
Mhm.
Be here now in love.
Mm.
I had a friend who was a psychotherapist, and whenever I was like really upset and stuff, I'd share, oh, I just want to get out of here. I just want to move. I just want to go live in some tropical environment, just escape all this. And she would always say, wherever you go, that's where you are. She goes, you're always going to be there. She goes, no matter where you go, that's where you are. You're going to find the same crap. Like, the first couple of days are always going to be fun and a big escape, but then your shit is your shit. Again, you got to face it wherever you are.
I remember years ago when I first moved to the Bronx and I was working in this office, and it was just awfully crazy. And everybody looked forward to Friday. And one day somebody said, oh my God, I'm so glad it's Friday. And I say, yeah, but then there's Monday, Yeah, you take it with you, right? Oh gosh.
So Linda or Lois or Tammy, any thoughts?
Well, interestingly enough, I was on the phone with a very close friend of mine, and we were having the same kind of conversations that we're having now. And, you know, I think we all talked about the other day, what would we first buy when we won the lottery? And of course, everybody's doing something but taking care of others. And I think that there is a responsibility. You know, I don't know what word is, maybe honor is nice to use, an honor to do that, but you know, just not only monetary wealth, but our knowledge, you know, like you said, Sue, I mean, we were talking about when we gain some knowledge, say on a medical level. Her husband's dealing with Parkinson's, and he's been through many things, but he's having really good results with this therapy he's doing now. And we have a close friend here who's been diagnosed. And so I feel the responsibility to put that information out there, you know, and just let it go, you know, because you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink type of thing. And we also talked about, you know, I like Dee, how you said, you know, we were talking about how, like right now, it seems like in this country, there's either, you know, the left or the right. There's nothing in between. People can't have their opinions. If your opinion isn't mine, then it's not right. And, you know, I try to have compassion with, you know, my experience when I was down there with you, Dee, you know, with my girlfriend and some people close to me here. To me, I feel like, geez, I'm growing. Are they going backwards? And, you know, I try not to be judgmental, but because they are on a different journey, they're on a different path than I am. And that doesn't mean that they're wrong and I'm right. All I can do is be the example and follow my heart, you know, like Barbara says, go within and, you know, be true to ourselves. So it's, and, you know, like Heather always says, there's so many layers to this. But I do think that when we are fortunate enough to have more of something, we do have a responsibility, you know, whether you like the word or not, to help others. And it is an honor. It does feel good to give. I love giving. And I know all you do too, because I've been on the receiving end of it. So, you know, like Sue said, we don't have to, you know, we're not telling any of us something new, but it feels good to give and out of your heart, you know, not to actually feel bad for the person, I guess, because they're on their journey, but, you know, to be there. And Jochen, I didn't think I could love you any more than I already do, but that story, I mean, just love you so much. And I'm so glad that you found your community and your, you know, your safe spot. And I'm glad you're here with us. So.
It was like you were reading another essay of yours. It was beautiful. I was saying, like, this isn't even commentary. This is him giving us his whole new essay on this, I believe. It was really, really beautiful.
Tammy, I got chills when you were speaking. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So we have Lois or Linda. Do you want to say anything?
Oh gosh, sorry, I came in late. Good morning, everyone. I feel bad because I didn't get to hear the whole reading, and I love what everyone's saying about being in the present and just being here, being generous with others, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It sounds like it was. I want to read the whole thing because I really feel like it felt like a really positive reading. I liked it.
Well, it's recorded, so I'll definitely send it as part of the next.
Oh, thank you so much.
So.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Lois.
Hello. So what really struck me was wherever you are, be here now, being present. And, when you're present, you can recognize others. So the combination of being present, when you recognize others with compassion, you're not judging them. So the level of giving goes beyond just material things. And as Sue was saying, when she would stop and talk to someone, on Lexington Avenue, sometimes that's even more valuable than giving somebody a material thing, because we're more than just the material, we're a whole package. And even if you don't say anything, it's just how you are being, because we all know our energy is so connected. If I'm being present and compassionate, there's some vibration that someone's going to feel. And that's going to strengthen whoever else is in that place, rather than looking for something to be, looking to see who's angry, looking to see who's whatever. When you find yourself present in a place that is supporting you at that time, you see different things. And, so wherever you are, just be there and find the good in it, find the support in it, see who you can give a smile to, see who you can be kind to. And that speaks even more volumes. So that's what I got out of it. And from listening to everyone share, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Lois. That's what I was getting that too. I didn't get about giving to people. I just recognizing their needs. And like when Sue stops and you give time of yourself, or a smile that can change someone's life or change someone's day or change where they're at. And many times I've had sessions on the street with homeless people and have talked to them for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and I'll come back in and RD's like, well, how was the session? But I think that was giving more than, Dorothy, a homeless woman, she would always ask for money. I'm like, hey, Dorothy, what do you want? And she goes, I want some chicken wings. I said, well, come on, I'll go buy you some chicken wings. And she goes, okay, I'll catch you later. Because she didn't want chicken wings. She just wanted money for alcohol. And I wasn't going to give her alcohol. But if she really needed something to eat, I would have bought her something to eat. But just that I treated her as a human and talked to her, and that's what she needed. So thank you, Lois. That all came to me from what you said. I loved it.
If I can add to your story, Heather, when you spoke, she wanted chicken wings. Once I was downtown and this woman who seemed, in difficulty, she wanted chicken. So I said, okay, you want me to go and buy chicken? She said, yes, and get me some salad. And she was giving me a list. That was so funny. Oh my God. She was like, I want salad and I want potatoes. And I'm like, good Lord, that was really funny. And another time I went to see, it was cold, and there was an older man on the floor. And I asked him, would you like a coffee or a hot chocolate? He said, yes. I said, which one would you like? He said, it doesn't matter. But I said, yes, it does. I'm going to go get it for you. So what would please you? And he said, okay, get me. I don't remember what he said, but it comes also to what Sue was saying. Sometimes people are not used to being talked to or to being acknowledged and recognized. So it's like, no, just get me anything. But no, if it's a coffee, it's a coffee. It's a hot chocolate, it is. But I think you are right, Heather, when we acknowledge and recognize people, sometimes that's something great for them, because many people act as if they were invisible.
Correct.
Oof, I could not do that, because they are not invisible. So it's a good reminder.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think we make them feel that way when we, we're like this when we walk past, like we can't even look at them or make contact. This conversation has made me remember something that I haven't thought about in many years. I lived about 3 blocks away from a children's orphanage called the Otley Home. And I was the only girl in my family, and I have 2 older brothers. So after my middle brother finished with the clothes for the boys, and I finished with whatever I had, my mom would pack it up and we would take a ride around the corner to the Otley home. And she'd always make me go with her. She'd always make me go inside with her. And you know, it was hard for me to wrap my brain around kids not having some adult that they could count on. It was very eye-opening as a very young person. So this kind of brought me to that. And anyway, I haven't thought about it in such a long time, but these are the things that form us as adults, right? We have these experiences that our parents or other important adults do for us, whether it's the family that we're blood relations of, or whether it's the family we've managed to put together for ourselves who lift us up. So, if not there, but for the grace of God, go I, right?
Well, I think we are acupuncture points. We're just little drops of chi energy to hopefully share with other people, and they get acknowledged, or they get treated to whatever it might be, but they'll always remember the experience. And I think this is what it's about. It's just treating the experience. And it was a very good reading. And also, for me, it's about coming back, looking back over the years and what have we learned about ourselves, and and moving forward. So and having all of you bells, for me is my just kind of reconnecting, because of my health situation. I didn't know where I was going to go, and and then the pandemic hit, and what am I going to do? And here I am, being with all of you, which I truly appreciate. And these readings, I think, has been so inspirational, and we learn about each other. We have grown to to be our own family, but then we can now go out into the world and share what we have learned, and hopefully help others, and then the world will be a better place. And as this woman says, it's not like major changes of giving billions of dollars to whatever, but it's just just small changes. But these small changes really do make a difference, to each person that we connect to. So on that point, maybe we'll do a nice meditation together. How about that? Sue.
My friend Dennis is currently, as we speak, having surgery. I'm going to pick him up at the hospital later. So if you remember, just shoot him a little chi so that he comes through. It's nothing super serious, other than the fact that it's serious by virtue of what it is.
And Johan.
I also wish that you think of my friend Bettina. She's my colleague in the brass circle. She's sitting next to me and is playing trombone. She's a doctor at the Charité in Berlin, and she has breast cancer and will get her surgery next week. This is she doesn't have to do chemo. They found it very early. She does have only the surgery and some radiologic treatment, and she's very good. But I would like to send her some healing power.
How do you say her name?
Bettina, Bettina.
Bettina. And also we want to add Jeff.
Lee's brother is still in the hospital with burns, and she has gone to Philadelphia to be with him. And he's stable. He's doing better than they thought, but he could use our healing energy as well.
Dennis.
So, and Johan, would you mind doing the closing again? I love your closing. So, so let's all just kind of gather together, and I'm going to mute everybody, and we'll do a nice little meditation together.
And I would like to add RD to the mix of the circle, and he could use some extra healing energy and some extra love right now. So I know he won't add himself, but I would like just to give him a little extra.
Oh,
You could use a little extra chi.
a little extra chi. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's just relax. And oh, thank you, Dee. I love looking at this beautiful view of the water. And put our feet flat on the floor. Sit comfortably in our chairs and just relax and breathe. Clear our minds. And let's begin our time together with the ringing of the bell. And just relax your entire being, relaxing our heads and our necks. Relax our shoulders and just release. Imagine opening your arms, our wings, our palms, just welcoming the warmth of the sun and the moon, the stars, the rain and the snow. Bring our attention to our hearts, open, filled with light, sharing purple healing chi to Dennis and Bettina and Jeff. Gently bring our attention to our dantian, the center of our being, and we're feeling grounded, calm. Relax our hips, our thighs, our knees, and our legs, and even relax our feet, our heels, our ankles, and our toes. And just be here now. And just listen. Listen to the silence. Listen to our hearts. Continue breathing gently. Inhale and exhale. And maybe you see the mountains in the distance giving us support, and the dragon and tiger hills on each side. And here we are all gathered together in the center, the Ming Tong, or the bright hall, just welcoming all of this positive healing chi energy into our circle. And at the same time, we're giving back to our friends, our family, and to the global community. So just continue breathing gently. So let's all come gather together, sitting in a circle in the gazebo with the waters filled with lotus blossoms, the trees in the distance. Welcome the warmth of the sun, and our hearts are all joined as one. Now let's take our palms and place them together in a prayer position. This is a mudra of thanks, a mudra of gratitude, a mudra of just being here together. And then release our palms and place it over our hearts and welcome all of this healthy chi energy, positive chi energy, filled with love, healing purple energy. And let's close with the ringing of the bell.
Be here now, be here now, be here now. Be here now, be here now, be here now. Be here now, be here now, be here now.
Be here now. Words filled with compassion and kindness and love and gratitude. And gently release our palms. Thank you so much, Yoka. That was so beautiful. And just kind of rub our palms, slowly waken our chi cells, and caress your face. and gentle little taps. Tap, 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 tap along the meridians, your shoulders, your organs, our thighs. Tap, tap, tap on the floor. And a little shake, 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 and a nice stretch. Happy Thursday. It's the 17th of November, 2022. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to just stop the recording.